Hello. Hi, you guys. Welcome to That's What He Said. I'm so excited. I'm Natalie Vaughn. I am your host. And this is technically the first episode. I'm just going to be doing a little introduction episode with y'all today. So it's just going to be me and you. So cheers. Clink. So what I want to do today is just give a little intro, give you a little insight as to who I am and why I'm doing this, to be honest. Some of you are probably wondering, what the heck? What is this? Why are you doing this? So I'm going to tell you. So that's what he said. Mission statement. Here we go. The goal of this podcast is to bridge the gap between men and women in today's complicated dating scene. Ladies, how many times have you been dating someone and asked yourself, what is he thinking? Well, we're going to find out. That's What He Said gives a platform to men to express their thoughts, feelings, and opinions, giving us more insight into their world. We want to cultivate more understanding between men and women to help single people build relationships that thrive. So, y'all, that is the gist of That's What He Said. As of right now, there's going to be 3 types of segments on the show. So our main or most common segment is going to be the interview episodes. The interview episodes, I will be sitting down typically with a single man, and I will be talking to him. There will be a topic question. And so our conversation will revolve around that topic question. And that question is going to be something that women want/need to know the answer to. I have a list of really awesome, juicy questions that I think y'all are going to love, that I think are going to be super valuable. As of today, I have already recorded 2 interview episodes that both were incredible, amazing, so much fun. Great conversation, very deep, meaningful, insightful. They've been great. So that makes me really excited for what's to come. So we have our interview episodes, and then our second segment is going to be called What She Said. So obviously the podcast is called That's What He Said because we mainly are talking to guys and listening to what they have to say. But occasionally we want to hear from the women too. You don't want to just hear from me. So I will be sitting down periodically for our What She Said segment, and I'll sit down with another female and we'll talk about it. So we'll talk about what the guys have said. We'll talk about experiences, all kinds of stuff. And that's going to be a good time. This is a 2-way street here. And then our third segment is story time. That's going to be strictly telling dating stories. I'll be telling some of my personal stories, and more importantly, I want to hear y'all's stories. So if you want to participate in a story time, send in a video. You can DM me on Instagram or send me an email. That's going to be, my email address is in the Instagram bio. That's at twhs.podcast. Or you can write it out. If you're not comfortable with sending a video, or you don't want to come on the show, but you want to tell your story, write it. I will tell it gladly. I will pour myself a glass of wine and I will tell your story. So that's going to be really fun. I think the stories are going to be funny. They're going to be heavy. They're going to be surprising. There's going to be a lot there. But the point of that is for some entertainment, but also to relate to each other. You know, sharing stories can help you feel like you're not alone. Help you feel like there's not something wrong with you, that our struggles as single people are more common than we probably think. That's that. We have our interview episodes, we have What She Said, and we have story time. So, again, why am I doing this? I want to back up a little bit and give you guys some context. I personally, literally, y'all, I personally have been to hell and back in my dating life. I think my first official boyfriend was in first grade, and I had to share him with my best friend. I remember being on the playground and he was sitting in between us and kissed her and then kissed me. So I've been off to a bad start from the beginning, needless to say. But I started seriously dating as a teenager. I'm now 30. And while I have had some wonderful, amazing experiences, I'm still single and I want to find my forever person to do life with, my soulmate, my person, my husband. And I know that there are so many people that feel the same way. Yet there are so many obstacles that are put in our way or that we put in our own way that are keeping us single. So, for example, at least 50% of my generation comes from a broken home, myself included. So, divorced parents, many fatherless homes. A lot of people have seen things like infidelity or abuse in the home as they were growing up. We really have witnessed the fall of the nuclear family. And I think this has led many of us to experience our own relationship trauma as we came into adulthood, which can create bad habits, triggers, poor behavior patterns, a lot of fear of getting hurt, fear of commitment. And then you have the internet. So you have things like texting came around, just the internet in general, pornography, dating apps, and all of these things that are further complicating dating and relationships, frankly, at a speed that we can't keep up with, nor were we designed for. So that's a whole other topic. Hopefully we'll do a whole episode on dating apps and how the internet and all of that has changed the dating world. But needless to say, it has changed it. And then we have gender roles have changed. Women are out in the workforce. We're self-sufficient. We have our own money. We're successful. We have careers. So that basic need of getting married because you need a man to provide and a woman to stay home with the kids, that really doesn't exist anymore. So what are the single people doing? If we're not doing what we were doing 50 years ago, what the heck are we doing now? What we're doing is going out and partying with our friends, isolating at home with our dogs. We treat our dogs like they are our children. I absolutely do that. He is my child. I birthed him. Okay. So I do stay at home with my dog a lot. We have self-care days every day. Instead of going home from work to see your wife and kids, we're going to the gym and taking care of ourselves. We're going home and putting on some music and cooking and having more self-care at home. So every day is a self-care day. We're traveling, we're hopping on flights, catching flights instead of feelings, traveling the world, solo trips, girls trips, all the trips. And we're swiping and scrolling endlessly to feel connected to people, engaging in hookup culture. So many people, it's so common to have one night stands and casual sexual relationships to attempt to fill those physical and emotional needs. We know that that's temporary. All of this can be exhausting, and it can feel truly like an uphill battle trying to find this one person, trying to find the one or your soulmate. And y'all, we are failing so miserably at dating that a lot of us are not even getting to the point of relationships anymore. There's tons of podcasts and Instagram accounts and this and that are for relationships, but I'm like, you guys, we're not even getting there. We're backtracking here. We're settling for situationships or entanglements, to quote Jada Smith, but we do not want a role model after whatsoever. That lyric by J. Cole, Jada and that, what does it say? We want that Jada and that Will love. No, we don't. That didn't age well. I'm not saying to follow after that. But these entanglements, which are essentially open relationships. A lot of people are doing this because commitment and real love seems unattainable now, or like a thing of the past. But we do want it. Most people in their heart of hearts want to be with one person, the love of their life, and get married and have a family and live happily ever after. Most people want that. So the question is, if most of us single people want the same thing, why are we not getting there? Where are we getting it wrong? And I think a big part of this is misunderstanding each other. I think this comes from poor communication between men and women, being inundated by media, social media, Hollywood, and cultural agendas that are feeding us lies. All of these types of things are pitting us against each other. I have never seen in my 30 years of life men and women so pit against each other like this. Everything tells us now that women hate men, men are trash, we don't need them, we can take care of ourselves, we don't need that. And then, everything is saying that men just think we're crazy and that they just cheat and lie, and they think that we are, I don't know what they think, honestly. So that's why I need y'all on the podcast. We need to figure out what the hell y'all are thinking. But all I know is that women and men are not on the same page right now when it comes to dating and relationships. So we may feel some of these things are true for a moment. There's definitely times where I hate all men, and there's definitely times where men think we're crazy. But in reality, that's not true. What we really want is to be connected to each other. We want to fall in love. We want to have healthy, thriving, long-term relationships. So if we're misunderstanding each other and we have all of these lies and distractions in our way, how do we remedy this? That's kind of where I was at when I really got inspired to start the podcast. So part of that inspiration was I was sort of reflecting on the most recent failed relationships that I had, the most recent heartbreaks that I had. And I put this question up on my personal Instagram story and got overwhelmed by the amount of responses from guys. So most of these are people I know, friends or acquaintances, but just this like outpouring of them being open and talking about what they think and what they feel. And it was really, really inspiring. But at the same time, it was frustrating because I just thought, where is this openness about how y'all think and feel in relationships? I'm hearing some of this stuff for the first time from guys that I hardly talk to, yet the guy that I was just in a relationship with couldn't communicate to save his life. So I wanted to create this space, this platform to bring us all together, bring single men and single women together and ask these hard questions. And we need to have a mutual understanding on these big, hard topics if we want to improve today's dating culture. And that is my ultimate goal, to improve the dating world and truly to cultivate healing, because there's a lot of feelings of hurt, loneliness, betrayal, distrust, defeat, and hopelessness out there right now. And I know this because I talk to y'all about it all the time. I talk to single people all the time about feeling this way, about feeling like we're just doomed and we're going to be alone forever. But it doesn't have to be that way. I truly think we can turn this ship around. Call me crazy, but I think we can if we just come together and talk about it. Truthfully, my vision is to have very meaningful and valuable conversations on this show that we can all learn from and that will improve our dating lives. I also want to have fun and laugh and share stories and relate to each other. This podcast is not about me. I am just here to facilitate all of this, and I promise I will do my best to be authentic and vulnerable and bring you all something that is going to be helpful and entertaining at the same time. I'm excited. I really can't wait to start this with y'all. I have so many amazing guests already lined up, men and women alike, who are super excited to come on, that have a lot to say, lots of questions to be asked. And I really think that these people are going to bring so much value and so much juiciness to this podcast. So that is the gist of the show. That is my short introduction for you guys. And my first interview episode will be dropping soon, so stay tuned for that. Follow on Instagram, twhs.podcast, on TikTok as well. Save the show on whatever platform you're using, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and stay tuned because there are episodes that are ready to be dropped, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear what y'all think and have discussions about all of this. I'm so glad you're here, and thank you for watching. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode of That's What He Said. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope you're taking away something valuable that will benefit your dating life. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give this show a follow, rate, and review. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like this video, and most importantly, comment below because I want to hear what you said. See you next time. Thank you.